Here's a way to make a capital block letter H just a little bit more interesting, give it a little bit more style and a little bit more personality without taking a whole lot of extra time. So as you can see here, I'm drawing a capital H with a yellow marker, and then I'm tracing around the outside of that H with a black Sharpie flip chart marker. So if I stop there, I'd have just your basic block letter. But now I'm going to make it a little bit more interesting. And I'm going to do that by making wavy lines around the edges of the letter, or the edge of the block letter, the part that I just drew. So for this one, I'm trying out a pattern. So these are really fun to experiment with because there's so many different ways that you can do this. So on this one, I'm doing a pattern of big, small, big, small. So as you can see, I'm making kind of waves or scallops or half circles around the edges, and I'm doing one big and then one small, one big, one small. Sometimes when you create patterns, you can get, you end up with some really fun designs. Sometimes it's fun to have things just completely random. So it's really nice to have a variety of ways to do things. Then if you just know this one type of lettering style, and that's what you want to use for whatever you create, you can just use this one lettering style, and just by making those small changes, you can end up with what looks like a big variety of different types of lettering. So you get a lot of different looking letters really by just applying the same technique. You just get a little bit creative with it and experiment like I'm doing here. Sometimes I like my experiment, sometimes I don't. So that's okay too. That's all part of it. If you are experimenting, it's probably best to do that kind of on your own on a scrap piece of paper. I sometimes experiment in front of clients and big groups of people. And I guess that's just kind of, I've gotten used to it. But if you're not used to it, then it's good to do it on your own. So as you can see, I'm coloring these in solid, so they're a nice solid black. You can also see how it looks if left uncolored, and there has a lacier look, and that look is nice too. For my work, I generally work fairly large, and things need to be seen from quite a distance. And so if that's what you're doing as well, then you want to be sure the edges of your block letters are really big and bold. The stronger they are, the easier they'll be to read from a distance. You do just have to keep in mind that you're going to need a little bit more space in between letters and words so that it is legible. The closer they are from a distance, they tend to blend together, and it can be a little bit more challenging to read. So as fun as it is to be creative, your overall goal in lettering generally is clarity, to be sure that things are easy to read. So there you go. You can see my final result. This was a easy scalloped edge, alternating big and small, and you can see how it turned out. So hopefully it gives you some ideas for how to take a simple block letter and just make it a little bit more interesting.